What a way to kick off week 4 of Iowa Prep Sports Postgame. Iowa City High beats number 6 West Des Moines Dowling 20-17 on a trick play with 1:09 left. That was Drew Larson hitting Ben Keeter for the 20-yard touchdown. Little Hawks moved to 4-0. Dowling is now 1-3, and City High is one of those teams that we've been thinking about ranking here at the Gazette. They've been getting a lot of votes over the last couple of weeks. They really hadn't beaten a team, though, that was in that conversation as well. Until now, it's really obvious that the Little Hawks are for real. The question now will be not whether they're ranked, but how high they're ranked. Another team that's been receiving votes lately in Class 5A here in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area, Lindmar. The Lions were 3-0 going into Friday's game against Cedar Rapids, Washington. The Warriors ranked number 8 in Class 4A after losing to Kennedy last week. Lindmar moving to 4-0 now with a 36-7 win over Washington. Here's Jeff Linder from Lindmar Stadium.
Hey, it's Jeff Linder reporting from Lindmar Stadium, where Lindmar defeated Class 4A 8th-ranked Cedar Rapids, Washington 36-7 in a football game here tonight. Lindmar really feasted on turnovers. Washington turned it over 5 times, and that doesn't include a muffed punt or a botched snap in the deep in Washington territory. So really, in essence, it was 7 turnovers by Washington, all in the first half. That enabled Lindmar to jump to a 22-0 first half lead, and the Lions rolled from there. Carter Henderson ran for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. Lions improved to 4-0. Defensively, Lindmar was very good, holding Washington to negative yardage through the first 3.5 quarters. Washington did go on a march late in the fourth quarter against Lindmar's second team. Washington finished with 77 yards of total offense, including negative 35 on the ground. Again, Lindmar 36, Washington 7. Lindmar will play Cedar Rapids Jefferson perhaps next week, going for 5-0. Reporting from Lindmar Stadium, this is Jeff Linder. Back to you, Nathan.
And we haven't even gotten to maybe the biggest result of the night in Class 5A. Top-ranked Southeast Polk loses to number 3 Ankeny 21-7, a rematch of last year's 4A state title game. So the Central Iowa Powers just continue to beat up on each other. There hasn't been one team that's really stood out from the rest. Obviously, Southeast Polk, you expect them to be in the conversation at the end, but Ankeny has bounced back in a big way since that loss a couple of weeks ago to Ankeny Centennial. Second-ranked Cedar Rapids Kennedy is still undefeated as well. They beat Cedar Rapids Jefferson via forfeit. Number 3 West Des Moines Valley beat Waukee 35-6. Fifth-ranked Urbandale shut out Des Moines Roosevelt 30-0. Number 7 Cedar Falls with a big win over number 10 Ankeny Centennial 28-14. And Waukee Northwest, I've been saying it the last few weeks, they look like a legit team, just had not been able to get a win against a tough schedule. Well, the Wolves beat number 8 Johnston 31-0 tonight. Some really big games in Class 4A tonight as well. The last week of non-district play in 4A. Let's go over to Saints Field and KJ Pilcher, where number 4 Cedar Rapids Xavier was hosting top-ranked North Scott.
I'm KJ Pilcher from the Gazette, reporting from Saints Field, where we had the hard-fought battle between ranked teams that we kind of expected coming in, but it was top-ranked North Scott defeating number 4 Cedar Rapids Xavier 20-8. Battle of 2 ranked teams, and of course these 2 teams met in the semifinals last year, but this time North Scott got out to a 13-0 lead in the second quarter. 2 touchdown passes between Grayson Jewell and Oliver Hughes. Oliver Hughes had a big day, had his hands on all 20 of North Scott's points. A little bit about that later, but the first scoring drive, a couple of offside penalties helped North Scott's cause, especially a 4th and 3 at the 13, where they converted that into a 8-yard touchdown pass on the very next play from Grayson Jewell to Oliver Hughes. In the second quarter, a couple of pass interference penalties gave them a little bit of a boost, but again, it was Jewell to Hughes for a 4-yard score. Xavier blocked the PAT to make it 13-0. Xavier did add a 42-yard field goal from Tristan Vasquez. And I tell you, Vasquez really showed his leg here tonight, making field goals of 42 and 33. He had a 43-yard attempt in the third quarter, hit the right upright and bounced away, but had plenty of distance and could have been 50-yarders. But North Scott answered. In the fourth quarter, it was Grayson Jewell to Oliver Hughes again, this time for a 30-yard scoring play. Xavier added a safety late, but it was a hard-fought game back and forth. Grayson Jewell ended up with about 213 yards passing. Alex Neal for Xavier, interestingly, passed for 232 yards, so that was something late in the game. Alex Neal was able to pick up some yardage through the air. I believe 71 of those yards went to Aiden McDermott for Xavier. Of course, Darnell Butler had 86 yards rushing. Oliver Hughes, 9 catches for 105 yards. He kicked the extra points as well, so he accounted for all 20 of North Scott's points. Quite a performance from Oliver Hughes and a good hard-fought game between both North Scott, Cedar Rapids, Xavier, which could be a game we see again in the Unidome. Back to you, Nathan.
That wasn't the only top 4 matchup in Class 4A either. Number 2 Indianola beat third-ranked Lewis Central 14-9. Elsewhere, number 7 Fort Dodge survives against Marshalltown 22-21. 6th-ranked Bondurant Farrar beat Pella 28-17. Number 9 Winterset beat Adel ADM, high-scoring one, 60-36. Number 10 Newton over Sadell 35-6. In 3A, it was number 1 Harlan over Glenwood 41-13. Second-ranked Boyden Hull Rock Valley beat Algona 58-21. Third-ranked Independence squeaked by Vinton Shellsburg 20-13. Another big game in Eastern Iowa. Fourth-ranked West Delaware beats 4A number 5 Waverly Shell Rock 14-6. The Hawks nearly knocked off Xavier a couple of weeks ago. Now they beat another 4A ranked team, the Go Hawks. Fifth-ranked Humble over Boone 40-12. Thursday night, a big result. Number 6 Solon beat 8th-ranked Davenport Assumption 38-10. Spartans were dominant in that one. Number 7 Nevada beat Hampton Dumont Cal 38-14, and 8th-ranked Sergeant Bluff Luton beat Sioux City East 35-7. All right, another number 1 team to lose on Friday. In Class 2A, number 1 Ida Grove OA-BCIG opening up District 2 play against 3rd-ranked Southeast Valley, and it's the Jags coming away with a 44-22 win. And you're probably looking at the new number 1 team in that class, Southeast Valley, as number 2 Central Lyon George Little Rock fell to 1-3 now, losing to 10th-ranked West Lyon 21-14. The Lions had stayed high in the polls because a couple of those losses came to really highly ranked teams up in bigger classes, but now they've lost to a fellow 1A school in West Lyon. And West Lyon had a loss on its resume to 5th-ranked Esterville Lincoln Central. Esterville was able to beat Clarion Goldfield Dows tonight. Don't have a final score on that one, but Esterville was up big. Number 3 Spirit Lake, same district, beat number 8 Pocahontas Area 52-9. 6th-ranked West Marshall over Sheridan 36-7. Number 7 Waukon beat number 9 North Fayette Valley 48-21. And 10th-ranked Greene County shut out Des Moines Christian 55-0. A big one in Class 1A between unbeatens in the same district. Number 3, Iowa City Regina hosting Mediapolis. Here's Ryan Pleggenkuhle.
It's a wrap from Regina. The Regals dominated both sides of the ball on their way to a 34-0 win over Mediapolis. Following a week off with a forfeit win over Mid-Prairie, the Regals showed no signs of rust. Jack Tierney stepped in to play quarterback for Gentry Dumont, who left the game on the 5th play. Tierney completed 10 of 16 passes for 150 yards and a TD. Levi Daniel carried the ball 18 times for 137 yards and had 3 touchdowns for Regina. The Regals' defense forced 5 turnover on downs in the second half and forced 3 first-half turnovers. Regina moves to 4-0 and will travel to play Wilton next Friday. And Mediapolis moves to 3-1 and will host West Branch. Back to you, Nathan.
And the teams ranked ahead of Regina in 1A also dominant tonight. Van Meter over Panorama 77-0. Number 2 Underwood over East Sac County 62-13. 4th-ranked Dike New Hartford still unbeaten with a 42-18 win over South Hardin. 5th-ranked MFL Marmac loses to Waterloo Columbus 16-14. The Sailors, a team that were ranked really high in the preseason, suffered a Week 1 loss to Dike New Hartford, and that actually looks like a pretty good loss now the way the Wolverines are playing. So expect Columbus to be back in the rankings next week. 5th-ranked Sigourney Keota beat Pleasantville 42-0. They face number 7 Pella Christian coming up. The Eagles won via forfeit against Van Buren County. Number 8 West Sioux over Emmitsburg 35-13. 9th-ranked Dyersville Beckman beat Cascade 38-7. And number 10 ACGC shut out West Central Valley 56-0. In Class A, pretty much everybody was dominant tonight in the top 10. West Hancock over West Fork 55-6. Number 2 Grundy Center beats Hudson 35-0. 3rd-ranked Woodbury Central 41, Akron Westfield 7. Number 4 Lisbon shut out Columbus Community 40-0. Number 5 Logan Magnolia beating Tri-Center 26-14. Number 6 North Lynn, another shutout, beating Clayton Ridge 47-0. Number 7 Oakland Riverside over Sydney 24-0. Number 8 Hartley Melvin Sanborn beats Marcus MMCRU 46-0. Number 9 North Tama over Nashville Plainfield 50-22. And 10th ranked Mason City Newman beat St. Ansgar 37-21. An 8-player was number 1 Anita Cam over East Middle 78-7. 2nd-ranked Audubon over Exira EHK 56-7. 3rd-ranked Montezuma dominates again over Melcher Dallas 61-8. Number 4 Easton Valley 67. Springville 12. Number 5 Remsen St. Mary's over Kingsley Pearson 57-26. 6th-ranked Janesville beat Rockford 54-12. English Valleys knocks off number 7 New London 39-34. Number 7 Newell Fonda over Algona Garrigan 59-14. 9th-ranked Gladbrook Rhinebeck beat Tripoli 40-22. And both of our 10th-ranked teams winning tonight: Lansing Key over Calamus Wheatland 68-0, and Ruthven GTRA over North Iowa 58-46. Looking at a couple of area scores now to close out the Week 4 post-game show. Highland beat North Cedar 33-13. Bellevue shut out Maquoketa Valley 28-0. BGM 64. Woodward Academy 28. West Branch all over Louisa Muscatine 51-6. Comanche in a barn burner beats West Liberty 44-36. Midland over Central City 52-30. Belle Plaine beats Colfax Mingo 41-14. Edgewood Colesburg over Elkader Central 44-16. If you go to thegazette.com, you can read a story from Jeff Johnson about the Vikings' transition to 8-player ball this year. East Buchanan beat Alburnett tonight 28-14. Monticello over Tipton 44-0. Northeast edges Anamosa 42-41. South Winneshiek 34-26 over Starmont. Davenport North knocks off Iowa City West 23-10. Marion beats DeWitt Central 20-7. Mount Vernon 33, Center Point Urbana 14. Clear Creek Amana by a point over rival Iowa City Liberty 31-30. Mid Prairie back on the field after having to forfeit to Regina. The Golden Hawks beat Eddyville EBF 42-0. Benton Community 33, South Tama 14. It was Western Dubuque 65, Dubuque Hempstead 35, and Williamsburg 62, Central Lee 0. So many exciting games. It's only Week 4. We've got 5 weeks left in the regular season. Well, 4 weeks left for some of the smaller schools. A lot more post-game shows to come, highlights, post-game reports, scores. You can get it all via this video show. If you're listening to the podcast, that's great too. We're going to have a midweek analysis show as well from Jeff Johnson, Jeff Linder, and KJ Pilcher, so make sure to stay tuned for that. For the Gazette, I'm Nathan Ford. Thanks so much for watching and listening.